The Sumerians. Let's start at the very beginning. The Sumerians of Mesopotamia, modern-day Iraq, were the first civilization as we know it. These people gave us writing, advanced irrigation, and organized cities like Uruk and Ur. They flourished between 3000 and 2000 BCE, but over time, problems piled up. Long droughts made farming harder. Cities started fighting each other over resources. The once mighty rivers, the Tigris and Euphrates, became unreliable. Trade routes collapsed, and just like that, the Sumerians couldn't hold on. Other groups took over, and the world's first civilization faded away. The Indus Valley Civilization. Now, let's move to the Indus Valley, modern-day Pakistan and northwest India. This civilization was massively ahead of its time. They had cities with grid layouts, public baths, and sewage systems. Around 4,000 years ago, Harappa and Mohenjo-Daro were bustling hubs of trade and culture. But something went wrong around 1800 BCE. First, earthquakes may have messed up the rivers they relied on. Then came floods, and possibly climate change. Farming became nearly impossible. Trade with Mesopotamia, a key part of their economy, dried up. Slowly, people abandoned these amazing cities, and the civilization disappeared. For centuries, their story was forgotten, until archaeologists uncovered it in the 1920s. The Mycenaeans. Next, we head to Greece. The Mycenaeans were the first true Greeks. Think warriors, fortresses, and epic legends like the Trojan War. They thrived between 1600 and 1100 BCE, building mighty cities like Mycenae and Tiryns. But their downfall was part of a bigger catastrophe called the Late Bronze Age collapse. Around 1200 BCE, the entire eastern Mediterranean descended into chaos. Cities burned, trade networks vanished, and mysterious sea peoples raided the coasts. The Mycenaeans couldn't recover. By 1100 BCE, their cities were abandoned, and Greece plunged into a dark age. The age of kings and warriors was over. The Maya civilization. The Maya built some of the most impressive cities in the ancient world, like Tikal, Palenque, and Copan. Between 250 and 900 CE, they made huge strides in astronomy, mathematics, and art. But by the 9th century, the Maya civilization was crumbling. The reasons? A deadly cocktail of overpopulation, severe droughts, and endless wars between city-states. They cut down too many trees to clear land, which hurt their environment. Crop failures led to starvation. Eventually, people abandoned the cities, and the jungle took over. But remember, the Maya never completely disappeared. Their descendants still live in the region today. The Western Roman Empire. Rome. The ultimate story of rise and fall. The Romans built a massive empire, stretching from Britain to the Middle East. They gave us roads, aqueducts, and gladiators. For centuries, Rome seemed invincible. But by the 4th and 5th centuries, cracks were everywhere. The empire was too big to manage. Corruption drained resources. The economy faltered. And then came the invasions, the Visigoths, the Vandals, the Huns. In 476 CE, the last Roman emperor in the West was dethroned. The mighty Western Roman Empire was gone. Europe fell into the chaos of the Middle Ages, and the world moved on. The Khmer Empire. In Southeast Asia, the Khmer Empire was a powerhouse. They built Angkor Wat, the largest religious monument in the world. Their cities were connected by an advanced water system, perfect for rice farming. But by the 1400s, the Khmer were in trouble. Long droughts and then sudden floods put massive strain on their water system. Meanwhile, wars with neighboring kingdoms drained their strength. People began to leave the once glorious cities. The jungle reclaimed the temples, and the empire faded into history. Easter Island. Far out in the vast Pacific Ocean lies Easter Island, a remote place known for its iconic Moai statues. These massive stone heads, crafted by the Rapa Nui people, were monuments to their ancestors and symbols of their culture's strength. But the Rapa Nui's incredible achievement came with a devastating cost. To move these giant statues, they needed logs, so they cut down the island's trees. Over time, they cleared the entire forest. Without trees, they couldn't build boats to fish or protect the soil from erosion. Crops failed, resources ran out, and famine took hold. Desperation turned to conflict. Clans fought over the few remaining resources. By 1600 CE, the once thriving society had collapsed into chaos. The Inca Empire. High in the Andes Mountains, the Inca built a vast and sophisticated empire. They created an extensive network of roads, engineered bridges over deep gorges, and developed terraced farms to grow food on steep mountain slopes. Their society was advanced, highly organized, and incredibly powerful. But in 1533, everything changed. Spanish conquistadors, led by Francisco Pizarro, arrived with their sights set on conquest. They captured the Inca ruler, Atahualpa, and executed him. This was a crushing blow to the Inca leadership. Meanwhile, smallpox and other European diseases tore through the population, wiping out entire communities. The Inca were also weakened by a recent civil war between Atahualpa and his half-brother. In just a few short years, the mighty Inca Empire collapsed. A civilization that once spanned thousands of miles was gone, brought down by a deadly mix of conquest, disease, and internal conflict.